what are you gonna learn me today?
Let's change this flat.
All right.
I'll show you the easy way to do it.
The easy way to do it. So 7 years in, what was your anticipation when you came here versus the reality of what it was like starting to shop here on Murder Lab 7 years ago?
I anticipated slower change. It sort of skipped a step. This shop is very commuter-oriented, very sort of blue-collar, working class sort of people.
Into fancier bike
Yeah,
shops,
absolutely. We are, a little rough around the edges. And quickly, we weren't polished enough. Single-family brownstones that changed the neighborhood. So that's one thing I didn't foresee. So, like hyper, skip the step, so.
Why isn't this a story of the gentrifier being gentrified?
And I'm not sure if I'm being gentrified. I mean, I've been in Brooklyn for 20 years, but I don't live here. And I think like the classic definition of gentrification is the locals, the people who've been there their whole lives are the ones being affected the most. Now it's no longer affordable because the city has changed, because the cycling culture has changed, and because there's a built-in increase in my lease, it's no longer affordable. No, every year we've gotten a raise, but it's been compounded.
Right, so the 7-year itch and you're out, it sucks.
At first it did.
Yeah.
But I'm really proud of what we've done here, and I think that the connections that we've made, the relationships that we've built, are gonna stay here and are gonna continue to affect the people living in this neighborhood. It was a 10-year lease. I didn't make it to 10 years, but I don't think of it like that. This is the wave that I rode, and it's coming to shore. This is the cycle. This is the end of what I can accomplish here.
I moved to Brooklyn, New York, Fort Greene, a little under 5 years ago. Just like any other immigrant, I kind of wanted to find a space where I could feel comfortable and where the hospitality flowed. Red Lantern Bicycles and Cafe became that. The things that are very important to me, that of community and inclusivity and affordability, are really very much within the fabric of this establishment. That just sort of radiates, and I really like that, folks from all walks of life and all ages and all different experiences kind of came and patronized the place, and I was able to mix and mingle with them,
So if you're blessed with that kind of perspective to see your 7-year arc, what could have kept you to 10 to fulfill that lease?
Rent increase had definitely something to do with it. But there were a lot of factors that I couldn't control. And so I'm not sure if there was anything that I could do. Since when we signed the lease, you could only buy books on Amazon. And Amazon Prime now hugely affects my business. Bags and seats are all bought online.
Yeah.
And the core of the business now is necessities, is tires and locks and lights, because things get stolen or things wear out. Or I couldn't predict City Bike.
Yeah.
Corporatizing cycling happened. And that's something that I can't control. 50,000 rides a day is what they average. I can't compete with that.
Yeah. I thought that ship or that rising tide
Yeah.
was supposed to lift all the ships. If more people are biking because of City Bike or more people are ordering stuff from Amazon, that just means we're creating more bikers and keeping mom and pop businesses like yours afloat as well.
Right.
But that never materialized?
I mean, when you spend money on Amazon, it doesn't stay in Fort Greene. When you spend money at a City Bike location, that money doesn't stay in Brooklyn.
So there's this notion of hyper-gentrification,
Yes.
gentrification on steroids.
Right.
I just heard someone recently talk about this notion of cultural gentrification, where these places move in and land in a neighborhood, we lose culture along with commerce in a way.
Right.
In your manifesto of the closing, you talked about the sort of inclusionary cycling culture.
Sure.
So what does the idea of cultural gentrification mean for the loss of a shop like this?
The culture is created by the people that live in the neighborhood, by the small businesses that work here. That's how the neighborhood gets its flavor. I mean, that's always been Brooklyn. You could walk 5 blocks into a different neighborhood and it would be completely different. Giuliani came in and cleaned everything up, broken windows. Bloomberg started to incentivize these businesses and try to attract more people. And I think that's where the switch happened. The control of the neighborhood went from small businesses and the local community to property owners. And the property owners affected that hyper-gentrification and skipped that step.
Yeah.
And it's because the property owners are able to charge an exorbitant amount of money that small businesses can't afford. And so you see Verizon, and you see Starbucks, and you see Chipotle. And these businesses don't care about the neighborhood. They just are attracting dollars away from small businesses.
So if this was the Red Lantern story, who would the bad guy be? Let's cast the villain.
You want to blame the property owners, but in this capitalistic society, it's supply and demand, and that's how it works. So it's easy to be angry at somebody that you can see. Same why people were angry at me for gentrifying this neighborhood. When I wasn't doing the gentrification, it was the landlords doing the gentrification, charging $8,000 a month for a space, I think that question should be asked to the city officials. Where do they stand? What are they doing to help? What do they plan on doing with all these empty storefronts, with the influx of corporate America into Brooklyn? But it's so difficult being a small business owner, and it's hard and unpredictable and nerve-wracking. Realize the community that you live in and how special it is and what it takes to create that and to sustain that. Not everybody is made out of money, but try to spend your dollar in your community. Try to support your local businesses. There's no excuse not to do that. That's the one ask.
Yeah.
That's it.